When you finally decide to upgrade your home studio, the biggest fear is that you'll spend a small fortune on a high-end piece of gear only to discover it sits on a shelf because it can't actually solve the everyday problems you face. I've seen too many friends grab a budget interface that promises crystal-clear converters, then spend weeks wrestling with latency, cable chaos, or a lack of real-time plug-in power. That hesitation can turn into serious buyer's remorse when the gear never lives up to the hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and today I'm looking at the Universal Audio Apple X8p Heritage Edition to see whether it's truly a smarter investment or just another pricey gimmick. First off, let's get clear on the kind of studio environment where the Apple X8p actually shines. If you're running a project-level setup, think a couple of microphones, a handful of instrument inputs, and a modest rack of outboard gear, there's a good chance you'll never need the full 8 analog inputs, the ADAT expansion, or the massive processing headroom that this unit offers. In that scenario, a more modest Apollo Twin or even a decent third-party interface could cover the bases without breaking the bank. The X8p, however, is built for those who routinely track multiple drums, full bands, or vocal ensembles simultaneously, and who want to run UAD plugins on every channel without overloading their computer. If you're the kind of producer who spends a full day laying down a live drum kit, then double-tracking guitars, while keeping a handful of vocal takes on the same session, the X8p's 6 DSP chips can actually make a palpable difference. One of the biggest practical strengths of the Heritage Edition is its near-zero latency monitoring when you enable UAD preamp emulations. In a typical recording session, the moment you press record you want to hear the exact same sound that's being captured, especially when you're using classic Neve or API models. The X8p delivers that lockstep feel, which is a game-changer for singers who are sensitive to any delay between their voice and the headphones. I've spoken with a few engineers who said they could finally get a vocalist to stay in the pocket on a delicate ballad because the monitoring latency dropped below the 3-millisecond threshold that most DAWs struggle to mask. For a producer who works with vocalists daily, that kind of real-time accuracy isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a workflow necessity. Another real-world advantage is the built-in Luna recording system. While many interfaces simply act as a conduit for audio, Luna integrates the DAW, the console, and the UAD plugins into a single unified environment. For users who have grown tired of juggling multiple windows mixing in Pro Tools, then bouncing to a separate application for plugin processing, the ability to stay inside Luna for recording, editing, and mixing can shave off a noticeable amount of time. The Heritage Edition also adds a sleek brushed metal front panel that doesn't just look good, it makes the unit easier to locate on a crowded rack. And the physical knobs give you tactile control over input gain and monitor levels without diving into software menus. Now, let's talk about the hidden trade-offs. The Apple X8p is a large, rack-mount unit that demands a stable, powered line environment. If you're working out of a small bedroom or a portable setup, the extra space it occupies and the need for a dedicated power supply can become a logistical headache. You'll also need a powerful computer with sufficient PCIe lanes to host the 6 UAD DSP chips, otherwise, you'll see no benefit from the processing power and may even encounter driver instability. In short, the value proposition evaporates if your computer can't keep up, or if your studio layout can't accommodate the physical footprint. Another practical weakness lies in the ADAT expansion port. While the spec sheet proudly mentions the ability to connect external S/D converters, in practice the ADAT channel count is often limited by the clocking accuracy across devices. In studios where I've tried to sync the X8p with a separate Audient ASP800, the clocks occasionally drifted, causing a subtle but audible phase inconsistency on combined tracks. If you're looking to daisy-chain multiple converters, you'll need to verify that your whole signal chain operates with a reliable master clock or be prepared to troubleshoot occasional sync glitches. So, who should hit the buy button? If you're a mid to high-end producer who records full bands, uses multiple analog sources at once, and relies heavily on UAD plugins for analog emulation, the X8p offers a blend of conversion quality, DSP horsepower, and workflow integration that justifies its price tag. Its 24-bit/192 kHz conversion is as close to studio grade as you'll find in a desktop interface, and the ability to run up to 7 UAD plugins per channel without taxing your CPU is a genuine productivity boost. On the flip side, if you're a bedroom musician who typically records one mic at a time, or a content creator who only needs a couple of line inputs for podcasts, the Apple x8p ends up being overkill. In those cases, a more modest Apollo